You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys, Steve Kerr has apologized. Yes, the woke Golden State Warriors coach apologized because this man knew that he was lying about what ICE was actually doing. Remember, guys, after Renee Good was killed by the police, and of course, Mr. Preddy as well, Steve Kerr was out there lying to people. Lying to people. Makes absolutely no sense, folks. But the reason why people like Steve Kerr, Doc Rivers, etc., the reason why they actually lie is because the mainstream media, even the sports media, is not going to hold them accountable for their lies. Why? It's simple, man. Because they're in on lies also as well. But when they're actually confronted by an honest journalist, then they can't lie anymore. This is the reason why, folks, Steve Kerr has now backtracked. And he's apologized. This man actually said that ICE wasn't arresting dangerous criminals. That is a flat out lie. Because, guys, when it comes to these deportations, like 75% of the people that's actually been deported actually had criminal records. And the other 25%, they just crossed the border legally. Those people should actually be deported also as well. But Steve Kerr, with the help of the media, lied to you. He was telling you that ICE is actually arresting American citizens that shouldn't have been arrested. That is a lie. But Steve Kerr now, like I said, he is now backtracked and he is now apologized. Let's go ahead and dive into it, guys. Here we go. But first, check out blackwhitenetwork.com. Support us by becoming a member. Membership to $10 a month. You can actually save money by getting the annual plan. Rhodes and I post member videos over there, as well as our member live stream. We had one yesterday. A whole bunch of fun. Sign up today, guys. Also, if you guys enjoy our work, you can donate directly to us on the website. 5, 10, 20, whatever you guys want to donate. We do appreciate it. And don't forget about the merch, guys. This is the last day of the New Year's sale. 18% off anything in the merch store, guys, including our new Black and White Sports hoodie and Black and White Sports shirt. But if you are a paying member to the website, you get 25% off, and that discount is not going away. So we appreciate it. So here we go. Over here on Outkick, guys, Steve Kerr apologizes for spreading misinformation related to ICE. Now, we know, folks, that politics really has destroyed the NBA. The NBA decided to get very, very political, and it turned half of their audience away. But people like Steve Kerr, they really don't want to rectify it. They still want to go out there and lie. And what Steve Kerr said, man, actually was pretty much defamation. And Tom Homan has already said, some of these people, even these sports leads, may end up being held accountable via a defamation lawsuit. We actually have to see what's going to happen with that. But Steve Kerr was actually confronted by Outkick during the press conference, and he backtracked. And guess what, folks? All of a sudden, after he backtracked, Outkick tried to do a follow-up. All of a sudden, Steve Kerr wanted to talk about basketball. He wanted to talk about basketball all of a sudden because they got him. It says here, Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr acknowledged Friday night to Outkick that he misspoke and apologized for spreading misinformation after claiming federal agents were not rooting out violent criminals, but were instead taking 5-year-old kindergartners. The apology came days after Kerr warned that misinformation for a for-profit news cycle was dividing the country. Within 24 hours of returning to Minneapolis, or from Minneapolis, the Warriors head coach found himself at the center of the same issue. Outkick asked Kerr directly about his comments made after a Monday night loss to the Timberwolves, in which he criticized federal immigration enforcement. Quote, "It's not like they're rooting out violent criminals," Kerr said at the time. "They're taking 5-year-old kindergartners and U.S. citizens and detaining people." Kerr was referring to the detention of 5-year-old Liam Ramos. The Department of Homeland Security disputed that characterization. Yeah, because what actually happened was his illegal alien father abandoned him, started running away. So an ICE officer actually stayed there with the kid. The boy's mother didn't want him either. So this is why him and his father, because they're both in the country illegally, are actually at a detention center in Texas. And they're going to be deported. But look here. This is the clip here of Steve Kerr apologizing. And then all of a sudden, he wants to talk about basketball. Let's roll it.
Alejandro from Outkick.com. So going back to the situation in Minneapolis and some of the comments that were made there. So I know you had mentioned that, ICE isn't rooting out violent criminals, but is instead taking 5-year-olds. Since we know that ICE has indeed arrested violent criminals, and perhaps some of those statements could be seen as misinformed or possibly divisive, what would you say to that?
You're right. I definitely misspoke, and I knew that ICE was arresting some criminals, and I think I immediately regretted it because I knew that to be the case. But my point is that they're also arresting people and detaining citizens and people who should not be being detained. And the manner in which they're doing it, and as you see, is riling everybody up all over the country. And being in Minneapolis for those 4 days was incredibly emotional and powerful. And it was a very difficult time for all of us. So we, at the end of those 4 days, pretty emotional time. I misspoke, and so I apologize for the misinformation. So I hope everybody else out there who's saying stuff that's not true, please apologize too. All right, let's talk about basketball.
Wow, let's talk about basketball, right? Wow.
You did highlight that
No. I addressed everything I wanted to address in Minneapolis, but I am glad you said that because that was false, what I said. And so I want to correct that for the record. So thank you.
Okay. As soon as he's called out for his lies, all of a sudden now, he doesn't want to talk about, I guess you could say, social justice now. Because he got busted. He got shut down because an actual media member called him out. And now all of a sudden he wants to talk about basketball. See, folks, if the media would actually hold these woke athletes, these woke coaches accountable, call them out on their lies, guess what? They'll stop lying. They will stop lying. But it only took Outkick to confront him. And then all of a sudden he said he misspoke. He knew he was lying. That's the thing, man. He knew he was lying, and he knew that the media wasn't going to give him any pushback. We need more people in the media like this, man, to call out these people. Because that was complete BS what Steve Kerr did. Complete BS what Doc Rivers said. Doc Rivers was definitely taking more of the race hustle angle, even more so than Steve Kerr. But these mainstream media people are not going to give them any pushback on the lies. And they know they're lying. But they're protected by the media. And when someone from outside the mainstream steps in and calls them out, all of a sudden now, they got to admit the truth. Yeah, Steve Kerr, you are a liar. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.